Mr. President, after 3.5 years, do you regret at all the lying you've done to the American people? On
All the what?
everything? All the lying, all the dishonesties
That who has done?
you have done. Tens of
Yeah,
thousands.
go ahead, please. Please.
Hey, if I was Trump, I would have did the same thing. They're always claiming this man is telling lies without ever stating what those lies are. And just like him, I would have just skipped on to the next question. But for today's clip, we're gonna get on to your girl, Kay, the press secretary. But this time, the media actually confronted her on some lies. I want to see it. So after always, let's get after it.
Claim that Republicans voted to reduce the number of Border Patrol agents, even though the Washington Post gave the administration 3 Pinocchios for that.
So we don't believe it's a false claim. Our statements were very direct here.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
Last year, House GOP voted, and not only did they vote for it, but they touted their Limit, Save, Grow Act. That's the act.
Well, and they vowed that it would never affect Border Patrol.
All right, let me interject right here. The Limit, Save, Grow Act was basically what they say for limiting the overspending, the excess spending in the government, especially when it comes to how they wanted to address the border. They were cutting off a lot of spending that had nothing to do with the Border Patrol. They were trying to add on a lot of DEI spending into that bill. So, and they addressed that it wasn't going to affect the Border Patrol agencies, wasn't going to affect any of the amenities that were there at the border. It was the excess spending that was added on for DEI training for Border Patrol agents. We don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Having them going through classes and then putting on administrators and extra payrolls to give positions to people that were useless. And they addressed that. It was spoken clearly, but she decided to lie straight out. And the reporters are finally catching her lies, but the level of spin with this woman is top notch. Check it out.
They voted for and touted it, right? This is an act. And this would have forced the elimination of 2,000 Border Patrol agents. That's what this act that they touted, that they voted for in the House. So that was their proposal, and that was what they voted for back in May.
Seriously.
They clearly stated at that time that Border Patrol, also veterans' benefits and entitlements would never be impacted by any of the reductions. And also the bill never had any appropriations in it. So this claim that you guys are rolling out, it's the White House applying White House math to a bill that never had any appropriations. And moreover, the administration or the members in Congress who, put this together vowed that it wouldn't affect these things. So the reason I ask is because it's just, to voters, don't you think they know the difference between, what is a truthful statement and what is spin? And is it insulting to them at all to keep saying it when it's just not true?
One thing that the president does not do is insult voters or American people, to be more exact, because I want to be careful about this, what I can say about this upcoming election.
See, the thing is, though, if you notice, she can't say anything positive about a bill that the GOP brings up. And that's all it is. So she has to spin it around and then throw all these BS lies into it that are easily provable if you just go study the bill itself. But she absolutely just won't say anything positive to give GOP, which are her own fellow Americans, something great to say. Just because the Biden can't get credit for it, but she's going to continually just keep lying. I don't understand. It gets to me. I'm just talking to anybody out there that's truly voting Democrat. Aren't you tired of this? And if you truly believe it, why do you believe her? What has she done to you in your life that makes you believe her? What have the Democrats done to you personally that makes you believe them? Now, if it's just that they make you emotionally feel well where your world is crumbling around you, that shouldn't be it. You should not want honey to your ears. You should want to provide honey to your family. But wow, let's go.
What I will say is, if you look at the bill, this act that they touted, that they voted for, House Republicans back in May, it was very clear that it would have forced the elimination of 2,000 Border Patrol agents.
No.
That's what that act would have done. We were very direct about that. We were very clear about that. This is what they touted. This is what they put out there.
She's like, it's easily disproven. You go look at the bill. It doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect the Border Patrol agent at all. What it affects is hiring to put DEI and any of the woke agenda into the Border Patrol agents. We don't want those people to be dealing with immigrants because they're not equipped to deal with them. So, and since they want that in the bill and we decide to not have it in the bill, all of a sudden they say we're cutting agents. What logic is this?
This is what House Republicans voted for. I mean, that's where they are. They have gotten in the way every time we are trying to deal with the border. House Republicans have gotten in the way.
Oh my God, will you let it go?
So we appreciate the bipartisan conversation that we're having with Republicans. Let's not forget, with Republicans in the Senate. That's why it's bipartisan, and Democrats on dealing with the border. House Republicans get in the way. They wanted to literally eliminate 2,000 Border Patrol agents in this particular act that they touted, that they voted for back in May.
Notwithstanding all of the fact checks on that, if you're saying that, the White House, the president doesn't want to, insult the American people, will the administration then amend its separate statement that imply that Texas officials were responsible for the deaths of 3 migrants when, in fact, they had nothing to do with it? They had already been dead for an hour by the time Mexico told anyone in the U.S. about it. And the administration admitted as much in their court filing. They acknowledged that in their court filing, but the statement from the White House implies that Texas was responsible. And a number of outlets were forced to issue corrections and editor's notes because of that White House statement. So will the White House amend that statement?
So let's be sensitive here.
Boy, here we go.
3 people died. 3 migrants died, 2 children and a woman. That was devastating. Devastating situation, heartbreaking situation. So let's be really mindful of what we're talking about here. I want to take a...
Man, you hear all these people talk? They do not have to talk for Corey. They don't like, well, we have to talk about Trump's rhetoric. We have to talk about how Trump is exciting violence. They did not bring up Corey and his family and his daughters. They didn't extend that type of. You got Joy Reid and all of them. You got people like Stupid Destiny. I'm happy that he got canceled on Kick and on X for the things that he was saying about conservatives and about Corey, talking about they deserve to. I don't even want to say it, man. Like, that's so evil. And like, this is the basic. Like, at least Destiny went on the far end of it, but she's still in the same bubble, just trying to be like cute about it. This is so disingenuous. Like, do they even have hearts?
Back and just as you're talking about our statement, look, as I mentioned, a woman and 2 children died. They drowned near Eagle Pass, which is, as I said, devastating, and that Texas officials blocked Border Patrol from accessing the area. That's what was happening at that time. Our statement is consistent with DOJ's filing. As the DOJ filing said, there was an ongoing emergency situation that Border Patrol was blocked from accessing. There were other migrants in the water as well. But I'm just saying there was separate.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
And the White House statement the White House statement says that Texas officials blocked U.S. Border Patrol from attempting to provide emergency assistance.
There were other migrants in the water.
Then why wasn't that included in the statement?
There were other migrants in the water.
That's what you were referring to.
Our statement is very much consistent with DOJ filing. Anything else specific you want to know about that, I would certainly refer you to DOJ.
Oh my God.
Okay, Pierre.
3 college students, Palestinian college students, were shot in Vermont in November. I know you're aware of that.
Yeah.
Nearly 2 months have passed since that time. They're speaking out publicly now. for the first time. Has President Biden or this White House spoken to those individuals or their families in the period since?
First of all, obviously, we offered up our sympathies, and obviously we're devastated to hear about this, and it's glad to hear that they are recovering.
Yo, the man asked you a simple question.
Right?
We don't have any readouts to give you on any conversation that we've had with these three students.
Would be the president, obviously, and
Dude, the way she blinks her eyes, I honestly think she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's like absolutely doesn't know what she's talking about. It's like it's exhausting to listen to. But the Democrats have to be exposed for the way they speak, the way they lie, the way they spin. So you know it and you can see it coming. It took me a long time to wake up to this type of understanding, but I have. And just to see, like, even the reporters, they're like, how do we ask a question and when we know we're not going to get the truth? But a lot of them, those are privileged seats to sit in, so they want to sit there. Listen, I ain't got no sympathy for them. A lot of them already sold out. But man, like, if they're finally starting to understand that their journalistic integrity is just completely down the gutter every time they report on anything she says, are they going to eventually just come at her as hard as possible? Because she's so comfortable lying, it's crazy. Man.
Members of the White House have spoken with regularity with those who have been held hostage in Gaza, recognizing the circumstances are very different. Nonetheless, the White House does reach out to individuals of all sorts of communities, certainly marginalized communities and circumstances not too dissimilar from this. So why wouldn't the White House reach out to these individuals?
It's a very good question. I just don't have, it could have happened. I just don't have a readout to share with you at this time.
It's about to go down.
Without a readout, could you just confirm to the press corps at some point if it did happen so we can be accurate?
Absolutely.
If it didn't, just let us know.
Absolutely. Happy to let you know, but it's hard for me to say, to confirm or not, if they
We'll wait for your confirmation either
Absolutely.
way.
Thanks,
Thank
Peter.
you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks. I want to ask you about ships being redirected around the Red Sea. Freightos tracked shipping costs and found that the ships going to Europe, the weekly cost for containers going to Europe are up 386% from last October. Costs going to North America are up 99%. So when does the White House feel like this could start putting pressure on prices and pass on to the consumer?
So look,
That's a good question.
obviously, our national security team here and our economic teams are closely monitoring the evolving situation in the Red Sea. It's something that we're keeping close eye on. But what we've seen so far is that the impact of the ongoing conflict has had limited impact on the U.S. supply chains and energy prices.
It's official. She has no idea what she's talking about. She's up there just to, like, answer the questions and to throw the questions back out there with absolutely no answers. Like, zero. It's like a waste of a conference, like just wasting everybody's time. Of course, the costs go up 150 to 100% on overseas products. The consumer has to feel them. Who else is going to pay for them? The shipping company? No, they're going to pass it up. They're going to pass it up. It's like, no. If you don't want to buy these products, we ain't giving them to you. So everything starts going up. It's... God, they don't care.
Diversions of vessels from the Suez Canal and to the Cape of Good Hope has not had major impact on availability of products in the U.S. or capacity at the West Coast ports.
We got to remember, they make so much money that inflation doesn't affect them, and they don't recognize the common everyday person that's living check to check and how everything is now an ultra check balance to the point where, like, you're just always poor. Like, you never have enough money ever. And then you want to get money, and then they hold all the gates to the keys to get the money to the top, so they kind of killing the American dream and making you a slave to them. So that fight is even harder to break through. But they don't care because they don't feel it. They don't feel it. They don't hang around us, and they completely don't listen to voices that go against whatever their narrative is. So she has no idea. She just gets to talk and spin, talk and spin. Sick.
Again, our teams are going to closely monitor this. This is our national security team and also economic team. We're going to monitor this, but we haven't seen an impact at this time.
Don't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, man.
Right?
Last Friday, the president was at a coffee shop in Pennsylvania, and he seemed to be surprised that the smoothie was $6 and how expensive it was. I'm curious, so is the president now realizing the costs that Americans are bearing?
So look, when he went over to you all to the press corps, he was having a good time, right? Offered up to as you know, offered up to buy them coffee. There was a big group there, and he made sure everyone got coffee and pastries. So I just want to make that really clear.
His comment was $6, and I'll do it anyway.
I hear you, and that let's not forget what the trip was about. The trip was about small businesses, right? There have been 6.
That is ninja level deflecting skills right there. Just look at that face. She knows it. She cannot say anything honest about anything. That's why, like, I'm 100% sure we're going into Trump's going to be elected president. He is. And in 2025, we're going to go into a deep depression. Recession, depression, however you want to call it, it's going to be very bad for the country for a little bit of time. But it has to go that way so it affects the elites. Like, the brunt end of it is going to be felt by us bottom consumers, yeah. But if we stick firm to our faith in God and our belief that it's going to turn around, it's going to get to them and it's going to bankrupt them to the point where we won't be giving them any money anymore. And once we get out of the loop of giving the elites money for lies and things they don't deserve, we can get this country back on track. But it's going to get dark. It's going to get dark because the Democrats will burn the whole thing down before they allow the country to be fixed by Trump. And they're planning to do it. And they don't care because while everything is burning, they'll be behind their border walls, with their armed guards, waiting for all the smoke to come down. But that's not how it's going to happen.
16 million small businesses that have started and filled out for applications. That's a big deal. That is really important.
Just answer the damn questions.
What that means is that they have the confidence, small businesses.
Yeah. That clip's in right there, but this lady's completely out of her mind. And if it is not by accident that the good Lord allowed me to see through these lies and get off the plantation. It's actually extremely sad to understand that this is who people got to get the truth from the White House from. Man, that is crazy. Well, that's it for tonight. Wow, we need better representation in our government because they truly don't care about us at all. Woo! Once again, thank you guys for watching Dino Reacts. And if you like my content, like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, chef's kiss. Mwah!